Happy Independence Day, everyone! In this video, we're going to talk about the best stocks for this week, the most important news to know about, and some crucial things to know heading into this week, because I promise you that the market is not moving like it was a couple weeks ago and a couple months ago, and this is important, and just trust me, you're going to want to know about this. So, with that being said, we're not going to waste any time, and we're going to get right into the video. As always, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, but let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, and I just want to recap, is Tesla delivery numbers were reported. For those of you who didn't see yesterday's video, basically Tesla had Q2 deliveries that were below their Q1 deliveries. They delivered around 254,700 vehicles in the second quarter of this year. In the first quarter of this year, they delivered 310,000 vehicles, so that's a significant drop. The main thing to know is because basically, China has been shut down for a large portion of this past quarter, and there have been a lot of supply chain issues as well. But the whole China situation was the main factor. Tesla delivered around 50,000 less vehicles this quarter than the previous quarter, which is a big drop, and it will definitely impact Tesla earnings on July 20th. So keep that in mind. Their earnings are coming up in a couple weeks. 50,000 vehicles is quite the difference, so keep that in mind. One other thing to keep in mind is that Tesla's deliveries this quarter or Q2 was around 254,700. In the previous Q2, so Q2 2021, they delivered around 201,000 vehicles. So even though they had a giant drop quarter over quarter from Q2 of this year to Q1 this year, they are still increasing on a year over year basis. So keep that in mind. With all of this being said, all of this news was already priced in or anticipated. The market was expecting all of this. So keep that in mind. One other important thing I want to touch on is this week we have Powell speaking. It's the FOMC minutes event, or I don't even want to say Powell speaking. It's just an FOMC event. This is not an interest rate decision. It's not. It's just not that. A lot of people like to confuse FOMC minutes events with like interest rates decisions. Like Powell's not speaking, nothing like that is happening. Basically, it's just a recap of the previous interest rate decision. These events are important because it shows us what the Federal Reserve is like really looking and discussing while making their decision. The FOMC minutes event will be on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Keep that in mind. These events are almost always market moving, and they almost always bring in extra volatility. Speaking of extra volatility, we have the slowest earnings season of the slowest earnings week of basically all year. There are a couple companies reporting earnings, but it's essentially no one. So yeah, here's the earnings chart. There's not really much to talk about. It's very rare to see an earnings week this dead, but I figured I'll definitely cover it. So feel free to screenshot this if you guys want, just to save it for the week. One other thing I want to talk about is obviously cryptocurrencies have been getting destroyed over the past year. Poor Bitcoin went from basically 69K to below 20K. It has been brutal. I believe it was one of the worst quarterly drops since 2011. So that's insane to think about. But as this is happening, of course, a lot of cryptocurrency companies exploded over the past year, and we actually had the founder of FTX, which is one of the biggest, most powerful cryptocurrency companies out there. Their founder and CEO, or their founder, I should say, said basically a lot of companies are going to get screwed over. They over-leveraged, and it's going to be a tough time. And this is coming just after many companies are halting withdrawals, but this is also coming after FTX might end up buying BlockFi for around $25 million. Nothing is set in stone yet, but the main thing to know is that a lot of these cryptocurrency companies are getting just beaten down significantly. We can see on this CNBC headline right here, crypto lender Vault pauses withdrawals as market crash takes its toll. Basically, all cryptocurrency companies are hurting a ton right now, and that's pretty obvious. Even if we just look at Coinbase stock, it has been brutal. If you're someone who doesn't think, these companies like Coinbase and these other cryptocurrency companies / stocks out there, if you don't think they're going to go bankrupt, everyone is now panicking with these companies. So now is not a bad time to scoop them up. If you look back throughout any significant panic point in history. Let's say we go back to 2008 and 2009 with the banks. A bunch of people were speculating that these banks might go bankrupt because of what happened with the housing crisis back then, 2008 and 2009. JP Morgan fell from $53 all the way down to $15. And now it's at $114, and that's after it fell more. Even if we look at other companies or other bank stocks like Bank of America, Bank of America went from $55 in 2006 to $2.53 in 2009. All right, now Bank of America is at $31. So the main point is when you have everyone freaking out, those can be good opportunities as long as you believe in the company. It was definitely possible for Bank of America or JP Morgan or any other one of these companies to go bankrupt, but that's the risk you take for the opportunity. So the main point is, if you don't think these companies are going to go bankrupt, if you think they're going to be able to recover like Coinbase, there's a lot of fear with them right now. And historically, there's normally good opportunity in these types of situations. So keep that in mind. But overall, we are not going to see the same market that we've been seeing over the next couple weeks that we've been seeing over the beginning of, or the first half of the year. And the main reason for that is because the market is not moving the same way right now. So I want to show you guys a heat map of the S&P 500. Friday was a pretty green day, but what do you notice out of all of these stocks? What's one thing that stands out to you? It's the semiconductor stocks. Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, AMAT, MU. These semiconductor stocks are they've grown quite a bit over the past year, but also they have a pretty big influence on the technology industry, but also the S&P 500 overall. And they've exploded a lot over the past couple of years, but now they're kind of leading the way down. When everything first started to fall, we saw growth stocks get hit the hardest, and they got hit first. So companies like DraftKings, Chewy, Roblox, stocks like that. But check this out. Right now, the S&P 500 is very close to its low, right? It's right around 381. The low is right around 362, right? Notice what's uptrending over the past couple weeks. Chewy, CHWY. Watch this. Ready? CHWY. They bottomed out a couple weeks ago at $22.20. Now they're at $37. All right, let's check out another one. Upwork. They bottomed out weeks ago at $14.85. Now they're at $22. Let's check out another one. Roblox. They bottomed out over a month ago at $21.65. Now they're at $35.07. Let's try another one. CrowdStrike. They bottomed out also a month ago at $130. Now it's at $180. So some stocks are actually uptrending right now, but the market is still low. So that means that one powerful industry, or a couple of them, are really dragging the market down. Those industries are, of course, the semiconductor stocks. So you have AMD, Nvidia, Qualcomm, stuff like that. They are bleeding off right now. They are among the weakest stocks in the entire market right now. Okay, another group of stocks that is suffering a lot. The banks, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citigroup, they're all struggling quite a bit right now. Keep that in mind. And then, of course, the cruise lines, so RCL, CCL, NCLH, stocks like that, they are down a lot right now, and they are kind of holding the market back because a lot of these other stocks are actually starting to run up. So keep that in mind. Now, one group of stocks that is looking pretty good in my opinion right now is these cruise lines. The cruise lines fell from, if we just look at like the past year, they had, or RCL, because I like to trade RCL. RCL had highs of $98.27. It had lows of 33 on Thursday, okay? Over like the past month especially, okay? Past month especially, RCL went from like 56 down to 33. That is a gigantic drop. Now, what I'm looking at for RCL and these cruise lines overall is a small pop back up, mainly for the sake of just like mean reversion. It is very rare to see companies drop this much, especially when they are, relatively big like these cruise lines, and not have it pop back up. So I'm really watching RCL, CCL, and NCLH for potential pop back up this week. RCL is my favorite. I think it's bottoming out pretty good. It's not necessarily like a longer term buy and hold play for me, but I'm definitely looking at it for a short term play. I think it definitely has potential to pop back up, even if we look intraday. Here, let me go to like let's go to a 15-day chart. It is double bottoming right around $34. It has a little bit of resistance around 36, and it just sold off so much over the past month, and I think it is definitely oversold. So I just wanted to point that out to you guys, because why not? And then let's also get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Upwork to the upside. For Upwork, we are watching it to break above $22.33. Then we have Beyond Meat, BYND. For this one, we are waiting for it to break above $26 even. And then with the last one, we have Starbucks, and we are waiting for this one to break above $79.89. So we are watching Starbucks, Beyond Meat, and Upwork for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels I listed. And then before we move on, I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, RV. Thank you so much for being a great member of the Stocked Up Discord. Tom and I really appreciate all of your activity and support. But last but not least, guys, the market had a pretty decent day on Friday. Some stocks are blasting up, which is awesome to see. And some industries are getting very oversold, like these cruise lines. So I think we're set for a very interesting week. There's going to be a lot of opportunities both to the upside and the downside. Let me know some of your favorite setups in the comments down below. And make sure to join the Stocked Up Discord chat. It's completely free. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. We have a bunch of amazing people in here. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long. You can network with people and learn strategies, and it's free. So join up. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. Besides that, have a great and safe weekend.